Hey everyone, my name is Damian Simon Peter, and I will be teaching you the basics of Backbone.js. So, this video is not really going to cover what Backbone.js is or what Backbone.js is not. Neither is this video going to be telling you when you should or when you shouldn't use Backbone.js. So, I'll just be going straight from, say, an intermediate perspective, someone who's just trying to, gets his head around what Backbone.js really is, or is having issues trying to, put certain things together. I'll do my best to, explain the basic of concepts. Okay, so let me walk you straight through this tutorial. So what we're doing is simply building a to-do list app, a to-do app with just one item. Funny, right? Yeah, so that's because I want you to understand the concept. So here I am, I have my Chrome console and I have my web page, and I've done a little bit of styling with Foundation CSS. And let's take you straight to the source code. So here's the source code. I have our jQuery, I have underscore, and I have backbone. If you want to follow up, do set up this structure. Forget about every other thing you see here. Where I want you to place your attention is just this to-do div item. Yeah, just place your attention here. Every other thing you can't see there. You can only see this line 58 and 64, 65, 66. Okay, great. So every other bunch of rubbish is what gave us this. But like I said, place your attention here. Okay, yeah. And yeah, script tag. I don't want to, open several files and do all this kind of thing. I want us to have it just here so you get the concept. Enough talking, let's start. Now, let's add one item to our to-do list the absurd way. So I'm going to add, let's say, go cooking. So cook dinner, let's put it that way. Cook or dinner. I love cooking, really. Cook dinner. So I'm going to refresh. Cook dinner. Great. Yeah, so we have an item on our to-do list. But that's not really efficient. So let's take that out. We don't want that. Let's refresh. So what if we want to use jQuery, right? So using jQuery is pretty straightforward. But let's do that from the DOM. We already know our to-do ID. The ID of the div we want to append an item to is to-do. So we could just simply say to-do dot append right? Cook dinner. Yeah, cook dinner. Hey, cook dinner is on the div. So we've seen how we do it the most absurd way, or absurd of ways, and we've seen how we could do that using jQuery. So you grab the div, then you append an item to it. The other way was we just added it literally. Okay, so I'm going to refresh. Now, how do we do this the Backbone way? Sweet. So I'm not going to be talking about Backbone models and collections to an extent, but I'm going to cover or touch them a little bit more. But let's go straight doing it the Backbone way. So so we're going to create a to-do view, which is equals to backbone dot view dot extend. Of course, we're extending this. So this is where we're going to build up whatever we want to be present in this div. Now, so we're going to need to have a render function. So in this render function, this is where we build all the HTML that we want to be rendered on the DOM. So render function, yeah. So render function, we can just say this.el. So el here, $el is the so every to-do view has an el element, right? So el here is the div, right? The HTML element for a to-do view. So Backbone to-do views each has an HTML element. Let me put it that way. So let me make it straight to you. So if I do this, if I do return this, right? Okay, nothing happens, right? Okay. So let's create an instance of the to-do view class that we just created. I'm going to create it from the console so you can see. So I'm going to say there's no need for doing this. So let's say test view. I'm just going to call it test view equals to new to-do view. So you see, so if I say test view dot render, test view is not defined. Oh, sorry, it's test view. Pardon me, please. Ha! Test view.render.el div. Wow! So each backbone view has an EL element, which is basically holding the HTML element, which is by default a div. Sorry about that, a div. You could change it if you want, simply by just adding tag name. Okay, tag name. Let's say h1 for instance. I'm not going to create it from the console anymore because I don't want to type the same thing twice. If you want us to, we could just do this. So test view, right? So let's call test view.render.el h1 this time. That's because I've overridden this, but we're not going there. I don't want us to get distracted. So cool, great, awesome. So let's see, how do we append? Let's append the same to do item here and see how it works. So I'm going to append, say, cook dinner as one of the item on our to-do list. So to do that, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say this HTML element, which is EL, right? Then what we're going to do, this EL dot HTML. Basically, if you're familiar with jQuery, this shouldn't be new. Go cooking or something, or cook dinner. I think I like go cooking. Let's put it that way. When you refresh your DOM, your page, nothing happens. So because we need to create an instance of this, so let's call this to do view equals to new to do view. Yeah. So let's return this. So we're returning the the object. So to do view, let's call the render method. Okay. Yeah. So nothing happens when you call the render method, though it does return view. But when I say console.log to do view .el, let's see what we have. Wow, Go Cooking is now wrapped in a div. So now that we know to do view.el holds this div, so we could basically just append it here. And let's see how we'll do that. So we'll just simply use jQuery. So we're going to select this DOM, this element rather, which is to do, right? And we'll just append to do view.render. Sorry, no need to call render anymore. .el. By the time you refresh, you should have Go Cooking on your page. So basically, that's just it. We just target that item and we render the text we want right there. So basically, I could change this to go fighting. Of course, you don't want to do this. Hope that's how you spell fighting. I don't really know. So go fighting. So when you refresh. Come on, Mark, what's wrong with this, Mark? Yeah, go fighting, cool. Let's add another item, learn singing, right? Let's refresh this, learn singing, cool. So basically, you understand the basic of Backbone.js. Well, let's take this enough higher and see what we can do more. So, more so, why creating a class, a to-do view class by extending backbone.view class. Sorry, you could also define the constructor, which is usually an initialize method. Yeah. So here you want to set up something while an instance of the to-do is created. So I could log out something here, so you see console.log creating an instance of the view. Yeah, let's put it that way. And wow, it logs it out to the console. So meaning I could also do, I could take this out and call this .render. So this is just going to call render for me implicitly. And I don't need this anymore. And this should still work. Wow, it worked. Why? Because I've called the render. Yeah, I called the render on line 7.4. So I don't need to call render again. To get. And I just, appended your item. But there's something wrong here. Yeah, we keep changing the same thing, We keep changing and changing and changing. How about, say we want a model like or an object, so and we want to get to render those items from the object. So meaning you have to create a model, so a backbone model. So you could now map that backbone model to a backbone view. But before we go that far, let's talk about templates. So templates is a way of just making sure you don't make things look so ugly, like you arrange things well and all that. But the whole concept of templates will get clearer when I do an explanation more. So let's assume we want to render an object. So we want this guy to come from an object this time. Basically, which is gonna be rather a. So if I refresh this, that item goes off, which is basically gonna be a backbone model. So I'm going to create a new object, a new to-do model, which equals, so it's going to extend the backbone model class, right? And yeah, I'm going to set some defaults. So you could also set defaults. So defaults, an object. So I could say tags to be done. Let's say cook dinner. I don't know why I'm so used to saying cook dinner. So done. False. It's not done yet because I've not cooked dinner. Nothing happens, right? So you also need to create an instance of these. So how do you create an instance? Variable to do. Let's call this my to do equals to new to do. Now on your browser, you could call this my to do simply by typing my to do. Okay. If you do my to do.json, it returns an object representation of the model. So yeah, so my to do, of course you could also call my to do dot get then any property you want, tags that gets done. Cool. If you call a property that does not exist, it will return undefined. Now, so let's take for instance we want to render this property on the view. So basically all you just need to do is when you create an instance of your view, you can pass in the model you want to get rendered on the view. So I could just say model. So what's the model in this case? My to do, right? A model instance, remember. So my to do. Great. Oh, it doesn't render. Why? It's supposed to show here. Oh, sorry to bust your bubble. There's no magic. No such thing as magic. It's like there. Yeah, maybe magic, but sorry about that. Let's go ahead and continue. So it does work out, but why it's not working is because we're not actually calling the model in the view. Yeah, that's it. So let's call the model in the view. So we can say this.html. Sorry about that. This.model.gets what's tags, right? So we're referring to the model that's passed into this view. And we're trying to get the tags property and see what happens. Cook dinner is showing. Wow, cool. So let's change this to something else. A new tags would be go fighting. Please don't go fighting. I beg you, don't go fighting. Go fighting. Great, right? Sweet. So yeah. Let's add the status property by the side. So I'm just gonna do this plus a string and a bar and this dot model dot get done. Right? So let's see what happens. False. Cool. Wow, Backbone is making a whole lot of sense. What if our to-do has more properties? We keep concatenating, right? We keep joining them together, right? This model.get this. That's gonna be really long. So there could be a smarter way to do this. Yeah. So that brings us to templates. Let's use templates. Basically, it's just just a template, and yeah, we're gonna be using the underscore template, which is by default with our Backbone, comes by default with Backbone. So template is just a way of organizing the entire view so they don't get messy, right? So for instance, I could say here that, oh, we want the templates and want to evaluate the variables that are passed into this template. So here, if I say, now this is just a like a notation for printing out objects you pass into this template. So this template, you're going to pass in an object to this template. Basically, it's just a function, an underscore function for templating. So you're going to pass in an object here, and what you define here is the properties of those objects that you want to be printed out. So I'm going to say tags here, and I'm going to take everything we've done here, all our hard work gone. Yeah. So tags, yeah, here tags. So but nothing happens now, right? Because we've not passed in anything to this. By the time you say this model dot to JSON and you refresh, nothing still happens. That's because we didn't call the template. So you need to say this template, right, which is this template, equals to this model dot JSON, and this should work fine. If it doesn't work here, we need to close this. Sorry about that. Yeah, go fighting. So that works well. So what happens is this model.json, which is basically my todo.json, returns an object, right? So the object gets passed in here. So this tax basically is a property of the object that is passed in here. Let's pass in the status and see what we get. Status. So I'm going to evaluate it. So this is saying print out the status. Status. Yeah. So sorry, there's no status property, so it's done. Sorry about that. So done. Yeah. Let's see what we have on the DOM. False. Cool. Great. Let's change this to true. And refresh. Great. So you see, basically, you've been able to understand. I believe you understand. Oh, what am I saying? I believe you understand the basic of Backbone.js. Yeah, cool, great. So we started off with showing you a simple DOM manipulation with jQuery, trying to do it literally by just editing the item, then doing it the Backbone.js way. We use templates lastly, but before then we just rendered straight ahead, just a normal HTML string here. I'm going to cut this out and do some typing here, and this got rendered to the view, but we don't want this. Come on, this is not to do. Take it out. Yeah, cool. So now we're doing things in a more in a backbone way, right? In a backbone way. Let's put it that way. So in subsequent videos, we'll be talking more about collections. And yeah, but before I move on, let's try out something. So this appends, right, the to do view, right, to the DOM. Now let's try out something. I'm going to create a loop here for variable I equals to 0, right? Normal loop. I less than equals to 10, then I plus plus as usual, then you do this. So I'm going to move this guy here and see what happens. Are we going to get 10 to do items? Let's see. We're trying to be smart. Hey, come on, what's happening? What's happening? I'm supposed to get 10 to do 11 to do items per se. No. Oh, whoa. The truth is, Backbone is actually smart. You can only have one instance of a model. So let's show you that this really works. The loops actually work. So if I console.log I here, you can see we have 11 logs to the console. So you can only have one instance of a model. So another way to make this work is you would want to create another instance of the to do view. Let's call this to do view 2, right? And let's append these to, basically I'm just copying and pasting things here, to the EL. Now you see. But imagine you want to create 10 items and you need to create 10 variables and stuff like that. as you see, we use the loop and things didn't work out where. That's where backbone collections come in. Alright, in this video, I won't be talking about backbone collections. In the next video, yeah, we'll have a chance to see what backbone collections are. So, thank you for watching. And please subscribe. And I'll like your feedback on the videos so I could work on, yeah, my first time actually making a YouTube video, and I didn't prepare, I just did it out. But I hope you guys picked a whole lot from this session. And thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hope to, come up with a new video soon. I hope you guys subscribe and, send me mails. Looking forward to that. Take care. Bye. What am I doing? Okay, take care.